I need everyone to lock in for this vlog, okay? I don't think this is going to be my most typical vlog because this is going to be a really chaotic week for me. So as you guys know, Summer Games Fest weekend, or the entire week honestly, is the halfway point in the year where a lot of game announcements happen. So I think last year we got Resident Evil 9 and just a bunch of games that got announced alongside that whole week. Today is June 2nd, which kind of kicks off this whole period. Today, in about 30 minutes actually, is the Sony State of Play. And I think this one's going to be a big one because they're doing like theater screenings for this State of Play. They're really marketing the heck out of it, so I think we'll see something really exciting. But besides that, Summer Games Fest weekend is going to be crazy because there's a lot happening in LA as that show happens. So basically, Summer Games Fest happens, like the actual show, on Friday, which I won't be going to because it's kind of like paying $50 to watch a stream in a theater. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to react to the presentation at home. But then that night I have a couple industry events to get to because a lot of brands started booking things to happen right after the show. And then what happens the days after Summer Games Fest is something called Playdays. And Playdays is like this weekend marathon where you get to try a bunch of game previews and demos from a lot of publishers. I'm talking like Nintendo, Capcom, SEGA is going to be there, Annapurna, Epic Games, other smaller indie game titles. So yeah, it's like a big weekend for people who get to attend Playdays because it's previews for a lot of high profile games that are coming out, and I was invited this year, which is so exciting because it's my first Playdays ever. And I'm telling you guys, this is like a crazy packed schedule I have because I'm trying to demo a lot of games while I'm there. So we're talking like 3 days back to back, 7-hour or 5 to 7 hour days of straight demos. And I don't have a lot of like wiggle room in between my demo sessions to really like even hang out at the event because I'm trying to play literally everything, every game that kind of reached out to me. So I'm going to try to vlog my entire week of just all the Summer Games Fest festivities, all the reactions to the announcements that I'll insert into this vlog. I will try my best to vlog everything, give my on the ground impressions after I play them, and you guys are gonna come along with me in all of that in this vlog, and I think it's going to be a really fun but chaotic weekend. But anyways, Sony State of Play is supposed to start in about 30 minutes, so I'm gonna go eat really quick and then I will show the clips of whatever big announcements happened during that presentation right now. After the State of Play, I did end up posting a video talking about how I felt about the show, and it was kind of a long-winded way of me saying I was excited for certain announcements like Until Dawn 2 and Silent Hill Townfall's release date, but a part of me felt lukewarm about it because I wanted to see more variety in their first-party titles. As someone who doesn't care for God of War or Wolverine, which I think are two games that kind of seem like they have similar player audiences, I think I was just hoping for something that made me excited that I have a PS5 like Astro Bot. So yeah, overall, despite me not thinking this was a bad showcase objectively, I felt like it was the weakest one of the weekend in terms of games I cared for. Hello, so today is the day. Today is June 5th, Friday, which means Summer Game Fest is today. And I don't know why, but I feel like this year's Summer Games Fest feels bigger than usual. Like, I did not have the same feeling last year, maybe because I was in Canada and I was nowhere near all the festivities that were happening. But this year I feel like there's just a lot going on. There's all these presentations happening, the State of Play happened. Yeah, I guess it's just because I'm going to all these events this weekend. Oh, and I also think it's because maybe they're doing it in Dolby Theater compared to like the YouTube theater. That feels way more official to me. But this is my schedule today. I woke up pretty early, around like 7 a.m. just so I get everything sorted before the craziness of this weekend starts, because I really think I'm going to be booked like every hour. But today I'm going to go pick up my badge for Playdays. I'm going to do that today so I don't stress myself out with waiting in line and maybe missing my demos tomorrow because everybody else will be doing badge pickup. And then Summer Games Fest starts around 2 and it's supposed to be 2 hours long. And then right after that, I'm going to the IOI event, which is supposed to be like a launch party for 007 First Light. But the dress code is Dress to Impress, which is so fun because I feel like it's been a while since I like dressed up for something. But then after that, we have this event that's called like, I think it's called Mixer, something like that. But it's like an event where you check out a bunch of indie games, I think. So that is happening in downtown. So we're gonna go to that probably after the IOI event, and then that'll be the day. Okay, I just got to the location for picking up my badge. All right, I got my credentials. I'm pretty much not checking out anything today. I see that they're doing a lot of setup, so I don't want to like spoil myself anything, but there is a lot of like signage around the area already, and they're doing a lot of setup, so we'll have plenty of time this weekend to check it all out. Let's do a quick unboxing, shall we? So this is the creator badge. It just has all my names on it. Just a bunch of information on what's going on this weekend. This is a flyer for the mixer that's happening at the end of Playdays that's hosted by EA. Yay, we get 3 meal vouchers. I think they're supposed to have like food trucks. Oh yeah, it says good for 1 meal at any food truck or pizza window. And then a voucher for 1 swag bag. Yay! This is gonna be so fun. I'm really excited for this weekend. It's happening! It's almost time! I don't think I personally have any predictions for this show. Well, maybe just a few ones that I feel like are safe choices, like maybe we'll see something Final Fantasy related. I think probably like the Resident Evil 9 DLC, but beyond that, I'm kind of just like, I don't really know what to expect. I'm pretty bad with predictions. I just like don't know what could show up because I'm not that tapped in. If we saw something Kingdom Hearts 4 related, I would lose it because it's been so long since we got an update on that. As long as it's fun, as long as it's exciting. Well, this turned out to be amazing. There were a lot of memorable moments from it, making it feel more like a show, kind of like the Game Awards, rather than a big showcase of only trailers. We got some absolutely incredible reveals like Resident Evil Veronica, which I lost my shit over. No way! Code Veronica! Code Veronica! Let's go! Holy shit! It's real! Tupac randomly being revealed to be in Stranger Than Heaven. Tupac? Are they allowed to do that? And of course, the big finale of Final Fantasy VII Revelation, which showed much more than I expected and has a much earlier release than I expected. Part 3! Oh my god, I'm finally able to play as Vincent and Sid. Revelation? Interesting. Okay. Damn. Oh my god, he's so cool. Oh, I like this. It's really sad not seeing Aerith here. Not gonna lie. There's more?
At last.
That is so soon. Spring? I did not realize how much they were cooking. That is way sooner than I thought. Wow. There were also other cool announcements like The Wolf Among Us 2, Tifa being in Street Fighter 6, Guild Wars 3, Alien Isolation 2, and 2 Cuphead games. This show had the firepower that I was looking for in a reveal showcase, and I thought it was a great way to kick off Playdays because a couple of these games were being shown at the event as well. Okay, that was an amazing show. I thought there was like banger after banger announcements. I still need to go through all the things that I was personally excited for because there were so many. But at the top of the list, definitely Code Veronica Remake and Final Fantasy VII Part 3 announcement, and the fact that it's coming so soon. And I'm pretty sure there were other cool announcements that I'm probably going to end up playing, but I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But I really need to head out now for this party. I'm already running late, so yeah, let's go. It is day 1 of play days. I'm kind of stressing out because I woke up late. We were out until like, well, we stayed up until like 2 hanging out. So obviously I went to bed late and then I woke up an hour late. I should still make it to my first demo slot. But today's schedule is very hectic. I have a Bluebird team session at 10:30. I think that's for like the Saw game or whatever. And then I have a slot to meet David Mencken. I think we're gonna make like some content together, which is really exciting. He plays Hugh Williams in Pragmata, and I obviously love that game. That would be exciting. And then I have the Pedal Runner demo at 12 o'clock, and then Annapurna demos at 1 o'clock, and then a little bit of a lunch break. 3 o'clock, I have the Control Resonant demo, and then at 4:30, I have the Day of the Devs hands-on. I need to head out now. I don't really know what I was expecting coming to Playdays, but all the nice booths and decorated activations made me feel like this was a mini E3. I thought it'd be more like warehouse vibes for some reason, but it was actually a great vibe with all the photo ops and colorful buildings. What I loved spending the whole weekend here was constantly running into friends as I went from appointment to appointment, since the campus itself isn't that big. Filming with David was a blast. We got to record 2 short form videos that you can check out on my shorts. He is super sweet and was so down for my content ideas, and he's of course such a talented voice actor. I didn't even know until after I played Pragmata that he played characters like Breach from Valorant and Barnabas from FF16. So I just finished up a couple things. I went to the Saw activation by Bluebird team, and they basically gave us like a presentation on their upcoming game. It's basically Dead by Daylight. I thought it was going to be some story game because I didn't watch the trailer super closely when it aired at Summer Games Fest, but yeah, I got major Dead by Daylight vibes. Their activation booth was really cool though, like it was decorated so well and had all these like props in the room, so that was cool. And then I had my time slot with David Mencken, who was so nice and kind, and he was awesome, very easy to film with, and so happy that we got to do that together because that was a lot of fun. I have a little bit of time until I go to my next thing. I think I'm gonna walk around the campus and just see what's going on here. There's so many content creators just out and about, and so many people with cameras and taking videos and everything that I don't feel self-conscious about filming in public because everybody else is already doing it. The whole vibe of this event is actually awesome. There's so many people just here to like play a bunch of games, and there's so many people meeting each other and mingling, and yeah, it's an amazing vibe. I feel like I can make a lot of friends here just because we're obviously all here to share a love for games. So yeah, I love the atmosphere that's going on at this event. Okay, gang, I have finally a minute to just sit down and chill. I am starting to get really tired. I've just had back-to-back appointments and just like talking to people, and it can be a lot. So getting a little tired now that it's around 4:40 p.m. After my interview with David, I went to the Pedal Runner demo. I didn't really understand what was going on because I think like I was just thrust into this game without really knowing what it's about. But Liz was telling me how she really liked Pedal Runner because it's basically like if Pokemon meets WarioWare minigames, like when you try to capture them. So she was really into it. For me, I think like I just didn't know enough about the demo to really have a fair assessment of the game. And then after that, I went to the Annapurna section where I saw a presentation on The Lost Wild, which is that dinosaur game that was shown at Summer Games Fest. It's definitely got a Jurassic Park vibe to it, but it's basically like a stealth game. And what they emphasized at the end was, so basically we were in a theater and we just watched with headphones this guy playing the demo for the game, and there was a person that was kind of doing commentary over the demo as he was playing it. The person commentating was saying like, I want to emphasize that this game is about treating like seeing the dinosaurs as more animals than monsters. So I'm sure there's an interesting story tie-in there of that message. And then I got to play Detopia after that presentation, and that was cool. I love the art of that game. It was giving The Giver, like the dystopian utopia setting where everything is very sterile and clean, but it's a little too perfect. And they do say in like the dialogue, like, welcome to this like perfect civilization, and you're like assigned your job and you have a number, and it's kind of like that. And it's like a puzzle game, but basically seemed like the plot of The Giver in a game. But I really like the art style, which is why I tried it out. But that was the only demo I tried out at the Annapurna section. But shortly after that, I played Control Resonant, and oh my god, this one was so cool. I really enjoyed this demo. I think it was the best demo of the day. This was just so cool because like I don't know anything about Control. I did not play the first game, and I also don't know anything about like the Alan Wake universe, so I learned a lot there. The reason why I thought this demo was so freaking cool is because the melee and combat system in that game is like, once you start stacking a bunch of abilities and seeing how it plays out in actual combat, it's so cool. Like the movement and the attacks and how they all synergize, and you start attacking all of these clusters of enemies. It's really fun. I went from not really knowing anything about Control Resonant to wanting to play the first game, played for over an hour, and they skipped us to a farther section in the game just to show the combat abilities, and I love that. It was so freaking cool. And I really love the tone, or like the weird abstractness of the environments of that game. Like it was some freaky weird shit, but in a good way. It was just weird, like the set pieces that they had, and like the audio like glitchiness, or I don't even know how to describe it, but it was really, really cool. I was telling the team there that was the best demo I played today so far, and I'm like way more intrigued in playing the Control games now that I've had a little bit of a taste of it. Right now I'm supposed to be at the Day of the Devs hands-on, where you can try like 6 different demos across like a few games, but honestly I just need like a break right now. I'm not sure if I'll end up playing the demos. There's a lot of going back and forth between demos, running into people as you're going from place to place and just wanting to catch up. So I think it's just been a lot of like go, go, go. I barely had a time to eat lunch, so I think I'm going to take a little bit of a step back and just chill for a little bit. Forgot to also say I got a swag bag from Control Resonant that I'm going to unbox. What is this? Okay, I am back home. What we decided to do was all of us just go home for a couple hours and rest and reset because we are very tired. Lots of mingling, lots of socializing on top of playing a bunch of demos. It wears you out. So we decided to go back home for a bit, and then we're gonna probably re-meet up so we can go to different industry events that are happening tonight. But I just wanted to show my swag bag, so I showed the Control Resonant one. I still don't know what this is for. Like, there's no like bag attached to it or anything, so I don't know what that is for. First I got this from I Am 8-Bit. They make a lot of like vinyls for video games, and they gifted me some. So I got the Persona 4 vinyl soundtrack here, the Steven Universe one. I also did get the Super Mario movie soundtrack, but I gave that to Liz because she wanted it. And then each person who attends Playdays gets a swag bag. First we got a Gundam set, a hat, I think this is Alien Isolation 2, couple flyers, I think this is a coaster, stickers, a guitar pick, more stickers for various games. I don't know what this is. I think it's like a balloon. A notepad. I think this is a pin. This is also one. I have no idea what this is. Switch 2 pin. More pins. And a keychain. A Stranger Than Heaven tote. I don't know what this is. Playdays branded socks. That's cute. It's like a necklace. Cool. Another sticker, a pen, and then a mug is the big item in the swag bag. It's the Control mug. Wow, this is nice. But yeah, a bunch of stuff in the swag bag actually. Hello, good morning. It is day 2 of Playdays, and I'm starting to feel the sleep deprivation. I went to bed at around 2 and woke up at 8. 6 hours is still pretty good, but like, I need my sleep. I'm someone who needs 8 hours, so if I don't get 8 hours, I start to feel it. But today is also a pretty big day. I have my Capcom session today. Then I have a Nintendo session. I think the Nintendo session is like all third-party titles. I don't think they have a single first-party title showcasing at Playdays, which is like so Nintendo of them to do. But what I'm looking forward to in Nintendo is Out of Words and Orbitals. I'm also gonna, I guess, try out the new Story Among Us game, even though I famously hate Among Us. For Capcom, they're gonna show some like theater presentation and then a demo preview of Onimusha that's different from the public demo, and I fucking suck at that game, so they told us to play the demo and I'm gonna play a little bit right now. But yeah, I suck ass at that game. Everybody was saying that I talked to was saying like, oh, Onimusha was really easy, and I'm like, for you guys, but for me, I was like dying at the boss the first time I played the demo. So, and then before I leave, I'm gonna watch the Xbox presentation, which is also gonna be big because there's so many rumors that Persona 6 is going to be announced there. I also feel like it's also just bigger than previous years. Like, I saw a picture of like the theater they rented out and it looks really big, and I think they're gonna have some pretty big announcements, so I hope it's a good one. And then that'll cap off, I think, the weekend of like really big presentations. So the leaks turned out to be true. First, we got Persona 4 Revival announcing their release date, which is a day 1 game for me. I played Persona 4 Golden back in 2023, and it became one of my favorite JRPGs ever. Oh my god, it looks so good! Oh my god, the gang totally is back!
Whatever's going
this
on
music?
Here, we're getting to the bottom of it.
To wield a persona is to wield direct
oh my
control
god, I'm so excited for this.
Doesn't it sound
the
cool?
UI, the menus? Oh my god, the small town vibes. No, not cool!
Shall we? Really? So neat!
Come on, don't call me that.
Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. No, like guys, this is the peak Persona cast. I can't believe the gang is back. Oh my god, it looks so good!
Which means that we also gotta catch whoever's tossing people in here.
I think I'd like to help too. I'm not running away from this.
Oh my god, I love the colors. It's so vibrant.
Taking down shadows.
This is so cool.
I'll be counting on you, partner. Then let's team up and catch this jerk.
Wait, this looks amazing. February next year. That's soon. Let's fucking go. Oh my god, I am so excited for that. And then we got Persona 6's reveal, which was kind of a nothing burger, but I guess this is how they typically reveal new mainline Persona games, so at least we know it's in the works, and we somewhat know the theme of the upcoming game. No. Stop. Oh my god. For real? For real? For real? My heart is like beating. Green. It's green. Wait, the vibes were so different. What the fuck? That's it? Okay, at least we know it exists. What the hell is that? Those are the only two announcements that I felt particularly excited for. Persona carried the entire presentation for me. So even though I don't remember a lot of the other announcements that were made, I felt like this show was overall exciting for a lot of people. So I feel like I would rank it higher than the State of Play. Probably not as good as Summer Games Fest though. Well, it went exactly as we expected. Persona 4 revival announcement, release date announcement, and Persona 6 existing announcement. But those are only the announcements I really cared about. So I'm happy. The only other announcement I cared for was like Spyro, I guess. But yeah, that was really the only thing I was asking for. But now I'm gonna head out back to the Playdays campus. Day 2. I just finished my Capcom slots, so we got a presentation from the dev team. So we got a presentation about Resident Evil Veronica. They basically showed a reel of the story so far up until Code Veronica, so they kind of explained like the lore behind it. And then we went into a Q&A with the producer of Resident Evil Veronica, which was super cool. We got to ask a bunch of interesting questions. I'm going to make a short form video kind of breaking down what I thought were the most interesting parts, but basically we talked about things like I asked which development team from Capcom is working on Veronica. The core team is mostly the people who worked on Resident Evil 2 and 4 remake, so that's cool. Someone asked whether it's more survival horror or action paced, and they kind of made it a vague statement of like, just imagine the natural evolution of Claire as it's 3 months post Raccoon City. And then we got a walkthrough presentation of Onimusha. They showed a lot of the really cool abilities you get later in the game. I thought the abilities where he's like walking, he's like running across the walls was really cool. And then they showed a couple boss showcases. And then later I had the Onimusha demo that is different from the public demo. I thought it was cool, but I will say like I don't know if it's totally the type of game that I'm quite sold to yet, because I just don't play a lot of like action RPGs. I feel like a lot of them tend to be okay gameplay wise, but end up being just not that super interesting to me. So I still am not quite sure if I'm super sold on playing that game myself yet. The gameplay was like pretty cool. You know, it has all the parry mechanics and everything that makes it very flashy. But I just finished eating my lunch. I have like an hour and a half until my Nintendo slot, so it's gonna be a while. I might leave for a bit and get like a matcha or something. I'm about to call it at the Nintendo booth, but that was fun. I got to play 3 games. I played Orbitals, the Among Us story game, and then, what was it? Out of Words. The Among Us story game, like, it's basically a baby game. Just imagine Among Us, but the imposters can speak for themselves, and you solve murder, and there's more, like, narrative and story to it. You kind of do the same things of, like, running around, going through vents, looking for clues, and doing little puzzles. So not a lot of thoughts there. I don't think it's like exactly a game I would play in the first place, but I did want to just try it out because it is here. And then Out of Words was a really cool game. I got to play with someone who is from the team that is developing it, and he did a great job of just describing the amount of work that goes into making a game like that, because it is entirely handcrafted, and it was just so beautiful how everything in that game is handcrafted, made with human hands, and it was really fascinating to know like every blade of grass is like actually like a real thing, like a paper or plastic that they use to set up that stage. So being able to make like a stop motion game is like very fascinating to me. I feel like more people should just know about that game just because it is clearly a labor of love. But I'm about to probably call it a day here and get some dinner. I'm very tired at this point. Also, shout out to Capcom because they gave me some gifts. They gave me more of Grace's photo cards and also the controller, the Raccoon City controller holder. So shout out to them again. I love everybody on the Capcom team and yeah, appreciate them so much. It is day 3 of Summer Game Fest play days, and I am starting to feel it. I woke up and I was like, man, I am so sleep deprived, but I am going to power through and make it through some of the final demos for this weekend. Today I have Stranger Than Heaven, some kind of demo session for Silent Hill Townfall. That might just be a presentation, I'm not sure. And then I'm going to try to squeeze in Grave Seasons if they have any open slots, and maybe Alien Isolation if they have any slots. The day ends with like a mixer. I'm really starting to be like, man, this was a long weekend. I'm a little gamed out, but I do want to really play and check out the reservations I have today, so I'm going to power through. I thought about ending the vlog with today, but Nintendo just announced that they're having a 1-hour direct tomorrow, so I am going to probably film myself watching that. It is so crazy that we got Summer Game Fest and then the big 3. We got an Xbox showcase, the State of Play, and now we're getting a Nintendo Direct. I think that this has felt like the biggest Summer Game Fest in forever. I don't remember it feeling this like extravagant. And we got so many cool announcements. It feels like the magic of E3 is kind of back, especially because I'm attending something in person this time too. I hope I get to do this again next year because it has been so fun. And yeah, I'm excited to see what Nintendo has cooking tomorrow. They just confirmed that Alien Isolation is completely booked, so we don't get to try that this weekend. Okay, I just finished playing Stranger Than Heaven, and that was very interesting combat system. So basically how it works is very directional. Like the combat is focused on splitting the controller down the middle, and left bumper controllers controlling the left side of the body or your left arm for combat, and then the right bumpers on your controller controlling the right limbs, basically, and that can get finicky. They set it up so the demo is split between easy, intermediate, and hard levels, and that goes through 3 eras in the game. The reason why they did that is because they needed everybody to kind of take some time to get used to the combat. Some might even say that it could be a little bit clunky. I definitely felt it was more like it was more me trying to understand what was going on at the easy and intermediate levels, and fighting mobs in that game with that combat system is tricky. Like I was more so struggling with the intermediate level than the hard mode, because the hardest mode is fighting one singular boss, and with that I think when you fight one single boss, you can practice more things like parrying and counters and guarding a lot more, and just learn how the combat system works. So I actually got the hard mode on the first try, but the intermediate mode I died I think like once or something. It's a little weird for sure. Guarding is a big part, like so you want to do you basically want to be guarding and then do directional blocks to parry. So if they're hitting from the right side, you want to use your left limb at the right timing to block and counter. And you can also do things like get on top of them and jab with your right and then jab with your left. And if someone is about to hit you from the left side while you're on top of someone, you can use your left bumpers to block them or make sure that you don't take damage. It's crazy. I think that there might be some people who have mixed opinions on this, because it kind of reminds me of when people were struggling with Silent Hill F's combat, because it's just a little bit slower paced and you just need to get used to how it works. But I did really enjoy just the single boss battle, because I was able to work on parrying and countering and how guarding works and how like directional input combat works. I don't know if I really liked it for fighting mobs though, because again, it's like there's no lock-on system, so it is harder to figure out how to not take too much damage while still controlling each limb. But I will say it does set up some really interesting scenarios where like maybe someone grabs your right arm and then someone comes in from the left, and then you can actually fight with your left arm with one guy while your right arm is still being grabbed, because again, you are controlling each limb, and you can even grab the left guy's head and bash it into the guy who has your right arm into his head. So it does set up some really interesting encounters, because everything is like directional input focused. I hope that made sense, but it's a really unique system. I feel like people will have mixed feelings about, but for now I'm going to say that I did like the demo, and beyond the combat, the aesthetic is unmatched. The way that each era kind of shows the evolution of Japanese society is super interesting. I always thought that this video game might be interesting just to see the historical context of the game. The society is becoming more industrialized. The music is reflective of the time period that the game is taking place in. So all of that is super interesting to me, but the focus for this demo was definitely just educating people on how combat works. So I ended up missing my Star Wars Galactic Racer session because I lost track of the time, but I made the most of it by playing the demo for Grave Seasons, which is a game that I'm super fucking excited for. This game is basically like a farming sim like Stardew Valley. It has that same kind of pixel aesthetic, but it has like a serial murder aspect to it. So people in your town die and you have to figure out who the murderer is, and you have to prevent future murders from happening. It is so cool. It's inspired by like a Persona 4 type of calendar system where each month or season has like a major death that happens in the community, and you get to be a little investigator to figure out who it might be and use tools that you have to prevent the next death, which is so cool. They said that there is replay value to this game because your runs might look different from the other ones. Some things, they were vague about it, but some things might carry over to your future runs, and they said like each run might take like 15 to 20 hours. So I'm really excited to play this game, and I think it's going to be such a fun take on the whole farming sim with this horror murder aspect to it. I just got out of the Silent Hill Townfall demo presentation. So it did turn out to be a presentation where we just sit in a theater and they kind of play through the demo and they talk through it, and we just kind of sit there and watch. I thought it would be a little bit more than what we were shown, because it basically is just showing the environment, the kind of vibe that the game has. They barely even showed combat. They showed a little bit of the mechanics, like you can do peeking around walls, and you can basically use your CRT device to detect enemies around you, and before you get a weapon, that is how you are going to stealth around enemies. But yeah, they didn't show us much. It was a pretty short presentation, so they're keeping a lot of things behind closed doors in terms of like what they plan to show at the stage. So yeah, I can't really comment too much because it was just not a lot of content they showed. So I did end up waking up in time for the Nintendo Direct despite feeling really tired, and I'm glad I did because I don't think it was like the greatest Direct ever, but there were some bangers like the Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave release date announcement. Seeing Kingdom Hearts 4 really threw me off. Is this Kingdom Hearts 4? What? Are you serious? No fucking way! At the Nintendo Direct of all the presentations? And then, of course, the Ocarina of Time remake announcement. I'm just glad that a Direct was here in the first place. It felt like it really completed the weekend to have all 4 big showcases happen. And that concludes Summer Game Fest week. What a week, guys. I feel like there was something for everybody. There were announcements all across Nintendo, Sony, Xbox, Summer Games Fest, and I felt like this was one of the best Summer Game Fest weeks in recent memory. Like, I don't remember feeling this hype about all the announcements, how exciting it has been. There were a bunch of games that people were excited for, multiple games that at this point it's going to be hard playing all of them because the release date calendar is just looking absolutely stacked. And I can't believe we're getting a Final Fantasy, Persona, Resident Evil, RGG game all in 1 year next year. The Ocarina of Time remake was just announced along with Fire Emblem. We even got a glimpse of Kingdom Hearts 4. I felt like the magic of E3 was back this week. I don't remember the last time I felt like this where not only did we get a bunch of announcements, there were just things that were happening in person, and being able to see people and meet people and connect over video games was so special. I am truly grateful that I got to go to Playdays and just be in this community because I felt like it's just a magical feeling in the air to connect with this community and meet people over games, and just my heart was so full after this weekend. I truly am grateful for all the opportunities I get, and also just being able to create gaming content. But that's it for this vlog. I need to quickly edit it so I can get it up in time. And thank you guys for watching if you made it this far, and let me know what you guys are excited for in the upcoming season, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!